Before we begin, the name is placed on the top right side of the screen. The story begins as it is mentioned that she just wanted to find her family and be loved. A girl kneels in front of a man and states that she is indeed that child from 18 years ago. She is Shulina. He asks her for proof. She wonders if she was asking for the impossible. Her spirit power was completely taken, so it is faint. But she thinks that if it is her father, he will surely recognize her. He told her that she is weak and she is not his child. She is sentenced to the spirit mirror. He turned around as another girl grabbed his arm and called out to him. Shulina stared at her, realizing it was Azella, the one who stole her spirit power and took her life. Her father made it clear that his child died 18 years ago. She begins to accept that child is dead and her father is right. She is a fake, the Princess Shulina, whom everyone called a villainess. The true princess, abandoned in an orphanage due to the Empress scheme, lived a life of loneliness, had all her spirit power stolen by the fake Princess Azella, and ultimately met a tragic end. This is the ending of Princess Shulina that she read. She finds it really sad to think that she ended up possessing someone with such a tragic ending. She thinks that maybe it is because she was often beaten and abused by the orphanage director as a child, but most of the original memories are almost gone now. She was called Patach, and that she would go without dinner tonight. It hurts her. The words that Shulina heard when she met her family, her father told her that she is not his child, and her brother also refused to consider her as his sister, stating that his only sister is Ella. Now she's aware that this scene becomes her future, but she wants to make sure that she won't live like that. Someone suddenly calls out to her questioning, what is she doing there? It is Talon. She mentions that if she is done cleaning, she should hurry up and prepare dinner. She is the orphanage director lackey and loves to bully her. Shulina responds that all right, she is coming. Talon puts her foot in between, causing Shulina to trip and fall before Talon catches her, causing Shulina to think what is going on, as she knows that Talon never helps her. Talon tells her that it's just a mistake and questions if she is okay. Shulina responds that she's fine. She wonders if Talon is going to bully her again, or did she stick something to her? Talon grabs her hand and begins to run, stating that of course she is fine, and that she should stop dawdling and get to the dining room. As they get to the dining room, Shulina decides to give her the potatoes and she can do that. Talon asks her if she can manage. Shulina responds that she cannot reach and she needs a stool. Shulina becomes irritated but decides to get the stool. As she leaves, Shulina realizes now is the time and reaches for her pocket. She is startled as she finds the director's ring in it. She knows that only the director owns a ring like this in the orphanage, knowing that if she gets accused of stealing it, she would be beaten to death. Talon comes back and right then ends up falling, causing Shulina to be shocked as she just suddenly fell here. Shulina reaches for her and asks her if she is okay, and if she is hurt. Right then the director appears, questioning what is all this noise. The director calls out to Talon questioning if it's her, but Talon responds that it was not her. She puts the blame on Shulina. Talon states that Shulina tricked her as she definitely felt someone tripping her. Shulina is shocked and has tears in her eyes as she asks Talon how can she say that when she was the first one to worry about her. They murmur that she tripped on her own and is now blaming Shulina. She always bullied them and she lies. They call Talon a liar before Talon gets up and tells the director that more importantly, the director should search Shulina's body as she saw something shiny in her pocket earlier, stating that it must be the director's ring. The director becomes angry and calls out to Shulina, mentioning that she fed her, gave her a house and raised her and she dared to steal her ring. Telling her that she has got some nerves, she calls Shulina a thief and steps towards her. She becomes frustrated, yelling to Shulina that she's a thief, but Shulina right then takes off the clothes and states that there is nothing and the director can check it herself. Talon states that cannot be the case as she definitely saw Shulina steal it. She asks the director to believe her, but then it turns out that Shulina has not been to the director's office today, and she only cleaned the first floor all day. The other people also murmur that she saw her cleaning the first floor too and states that Talon is definitely a liar. Talon shouts that maybe Shulina stole it before. Shulina then mentions that Talon was the one who said that she stole it today, questioning why does she keep changing her story. She finds it strange. They mention that Talon is the only one who went to the director's office today. The director also states that this seems to be true and drags Talon. That is when the ring falls on the ground from Talon. Talon is shocked knowing that she definitely put it in Shulina's pocket. She realizes that Talon Shulina was the one who tricked her and put the ring back in her pocket. She begins to yell to the director that it was not her, and she did not do that, stating that it is all Shulina's fault. The director glares at her before slapping her and calling her a wretched creature, mentioning that she raised such a thieving cat, reminding Talon that she fed her and took care of her, and yet she dared to steal from her. Talon states that she did not do it while crying. She shivers before the director raises her hand, but Shulina comes in between and calls out to the director asking her to wait. She mentions that Talon must have some circumstances. The director is not in a good mood as she asks Shulina to step aside. Shulina helps Talon get up while mentioning that if Talon did take something, it was not intentional. The director pushes Shulina away and drags Talon with her, asking her to come with her right now. Talon cries and pleads to the director, not realizing how is this happening. Shulina stands there looking at Talon being taken away, wondering what is going on. She thinks about it and realizes that Talon looked particularly nervous today, and that even her outfit was more elaborate than usual. Clean the orphanage since dawn. She thinks that she is onto something before she remembers Duke Velat, a family that uses a special attribute called Tsi instead of mana. They were considered a cursed family because people instinctively felt fear just by looking at them. To erase their bad reputation, they had once taken in and temporarily cared for children from the orphanage. And today is the day she realizes that this is an opportunity for her as well to survive. Going forward, it is better to be under the Duke's patronage. She makes sure that she would not live like Shulina. Those who abandoned her are not family. But she is working for a while as she ponders that she is glad to have secured a spot near the main gate. It is worth it to have deliberately taken up a spot near the gate to meet the Duke first, even though her shoulder hurt. People begin to talk about how the carriage is as big as the orphanage, and it is sparkling so much. She notices and realizes that they are here. She fixes her face expression and has a determined look on her face. She goes to open the door and questions who is it. Noticing that this person is the Duke. With black hair and purple eyes, it is definitely Duke Velat. She notices someone standing next to him and wonders if it is his son. She decides to smile a little and calls out to the older brother, telling him that he is so pretty. He finds her fascinating as she questions what is his name. He mentions that his name is Windy. She thinks about the name as she wonders if he could be Windecked. The sup may lead in future due in the original story he turns into a villain after failing to get Azella. Based on the original timeline, she realizes he is 11 years old, but he looks about 15. She calls him older brother as he finds her really fascinating and asks her if she is not scared of him. He tells her that by this point, everyone else would be crying and collapsing from the curse. She knows it must be due to the spirit power which resembles nature and protects the royalty. Being aware that it should protect her from the curse of the Duke's house that causes fear. The Duke asks her how old is she. She counts for a while on her fingers and tells him that she's about to turn 6. They ask her what is her name as she tells them that they should tell the director beforehand. The Duke responds that he will know if he says Velat. He holds her hand as she mentions that she will show him the director's office. They look at her in a very mesmerizing way. After they steps towards the office, she knocks on the door, telling the director that they have guests. The director thanks her for guiding them. She tells the director that it is his Duke. She also informs the director that the Duke is looking for a child to stay with him for a month. The director tells them that it is humble, but they should please wait a moment, as they will find a child worthy of the Duke right away. The Duke tells the director that there is no need as he has her on his arms. He states that he will take this child. The director is shocked. The Duke looks at her and tells her that she will come with him. She is stunned for a while before she smiles and accepts that. While in the carriage, she asks the Duke what would she be doing. Would it be laundry or cleaning? The Duke tells her that she will be treated with great respect in their household, and she will eat delicious food, play, and rest comfortably. She will even be featured in the newspaper. Windy acts. But should not he have asked about that earlier? She is aware that she knew it from the original story, so she did not need to ask. He looks at her and asks her if she is eating well, as she looks like she's already on the brink of collapsing from overwork. Her skin looks withered, as if she has been working too hard. She tries to flex her muscles, stating that she works hard and stay healthy. The Duke tells her that looking at those arms, he will have to prepare only the best for her. His son chuckles, telling the Duke that to fatten up those arms, he will have to go through some hardship. She looks at her smile and becomes really shocked. She finds it really beautiful and wonders if this is the angelic smile. Right then, she's just about to fall before the Duke catches her and asks her if she's hurt. She responds that she is fine and thanks him. She ponders that she was so surprised that she did not expect to be embraced like that. She is aware that her clothes are so dirty. She thinks about how a large embrace that saved her from injury just like a father. But then she shakes her head, telling herself to not have such absurd thoughts. She then looks at Windy Eyes. He tells her that he is not as big as her, as he's also trained as a knight. She thinks that, come to think of it, in the original story, he earned the title of the continent's greatest knight. She tells him that he is so impressive. He questions, but what is the matter? He is told that the other carriage was moving so fast, so they had to dodge. She ponders that a noble should recognize the Duke's carriage, so how can they not apologize when they almost collided with it? Wondering what do they think they are doing? She notices someone as she realizes that person is crying. They are questioned if they should chase the other carriage. The Duke knows the driving so fast that it almost endured a child is unacceptable. But she tells that she's hungry and her stomach is growling. He then tells the person that he should just try further. They have arrived home and she's told that this is where she will be staying for the next month. She is welcomed to the White Rose Mansion. She finds it very overwhelming. Windy tells her that she looks surprised. He tells her to come in and mentions that Dylan is waiting. She questions who is Dylan. It is his younger sibling. She hears a voice suddenly and hides herself in the Duke's arm. She questions what is going on as the Duke tells her it is a camera. The cameraman apologizes for startling her. She looks at this person as she realizes it is not just that a commoner fears a noble. It is if they are suffering from an instinctive fear. She didn't think so. This is the Duke's skirts. She states that she was just surprised at first and tells the cameraman to take a pretty picture. The Duke mentions that he will be leaving now. They are then greeted by the butler of the White Rose Mansion. The Duke asks her what it is. She tells the Duke to let her down. She thanks the butler and tells him that she looks forward to working with him. The butler gets down on one knee and he asks her that if she has any discomfort, no matter how minor, she should please let him know immediately. She thanks the butler as she ponders that he does not seem to dislike her. Someone calls out to her stating that she is so small and cute. It is the maid Lucida. She is told that Lucida will help with most things, so she should get to know her. Lucida asks the Duke if they brought her here in this chilly weather. She tells Lucida that she only has this outfit as Lucida covers her with the blanket. She mentions that she prepared it for the chilly weather, but it could have been thicker. She also asks her if she's hungry. She responds that she is just a little bit hungry before Lucida tells her that she will prepare a meal for her right away. Lucida also mentions that after they eat, they will have a bath and ask her what kind of food does she like. She seems a bit insecure because she does not know many foods, thinking whatever they laugh at her. But the Duke tells Lucida to just prepare the best things available. Lucida then decides to prepare a feast of the most delicious foods for her. She is aware that this is a month-long limited kindness, realizing that she should not get used to this kind of treatment, as her heart is already softening. A person notices her and wonders if it is that child. It is Dylan. He is questioned. Why is he out here? She looks at him and thinks that he must be the second one. She introduces herself properly. She tells him that she is very glad to meet him and thanks him for the invitation. The Duke picks her up, telling her that the floor is cold, and puts her on his lap. He tells her to please have a good time for the next month. Frances her name wrong as she corrects him. She tells him that he heard it at the orphanage earlier too. He tells her that he thought she wanted him to call her that way. She finds it a very foolish thing. She is aware that she is not a baby and wonders what this is. Dylan decorations. Why does he keep calling her Shuli instead of Shulina? Mentioning that they are both the same. How to pronounce a name that she cannot even say herself. She's questioned what is her nickname. The young master tells her that he should say his name first. He introduces himself to her as she tells him that his name is really pretty. He also agrees with her. She wonders what is going on, thinking wise. Everyone in this household treating her so easily. It is like they has disarmed her completely. She didn't think that given that no one has approached him so casually due to the curse so far, it makes sense, thinking it is a pity that such nice people are misunderstood. Dylan asks her nickname as she tells him that she does not have a nickname. The Duke thinks about a nickname and questions. How about Shushu? She finds the name Shushu cute. She wonders if the Duke finds her cute. He tells her it is because she resembles Cream Puff. She questions what is Cream Puff. He mentions that if she gains weight, she will look like a soft bread, so they should go with Shushu. She thinks about bread and realizes that is her first nickname. They even find her cheeks resembling it. They tell her that she will like it once she tries it later. The young master states that he thinks the meal preparation should be done by now and questions if he should go now. He has been given the permission as he picks Shushu up. She ponders that she does not feel bad that the young master seems to like her, but why does it seem like the people in this house are so eager to please her? She's aware that she can walk too. Dylan asks his brother that why is he carrying her like a sack. He responds that he should look at her legs, but if she gets hurt while walking around. He also agrees and states that if no one's around, then he will also carry her. He tells his brother that he is still too weak, so he cannot, and he will only allow it if he can do 1,000 consecutive diagonal cuts. She wonders how do they even do that, but since the young master will be a renowned knight in the future, maybe it is possible. Dylan states that he will work hard to make sure she does not get hurt after a while. Someone mentions that they do look like such a close brother and sister. It's just Lucida, and she thinks about it. She knows it would have been really nice if that was the case. She thinks about it, a family that will protect her loving father and brothers, even a prosperous life. She would have lived comfortably without threats, unlike now where she faces life-threatening dangers as a princess. She knows it would have been better if he was actually family. It is Oak since she met him like this. He tells her that his name might be hard to pronounce, so it is Oak to call him Windy. Dylan also tells her that he will allow her to call him Del especially, reminding her that she is not his sibling, but still, she looks so earnest, that it is special. She thanks him and calls him brother. Right then they hear a sound as they wonder what is that sound. It seems to be from her stomach. They look at her and wonders if she's alright as her face is red, so it seems like she's having fever. The meal is ready and served. She finds it good time. She looks at the food as she realizes this is her first time seeing all of this, but she is aware that she cannot eat this much. They also find the cream puff. She looks at it and questions if it really tastes like that. They tell her it is a perfect match. She takes a bite of it as she finds the taste very overwhelming. She thinks that she has really lived so pitifully. She finds it really tasty that she happens to end up getting teary-eyed, to the point that she thanks everyone. She wonders that from now on she will only eat delicious food, and she will make sure to do everything that Shulina could not. Right then, she suddenly covers her mouth as they become worried about her. Lucida goes to her, questioning her if she is okay. She ponders that it hurts and it feels like she's going to throw up. Blue Cedar tells her to not hold back and throw up. She begins to think about the past. She finds herself in a different place. She ponders that with a somewhat low and heady voice, like a man. She knows this place. She goes towards a woman, thinking that only she can wake her up. She realizes that this is the spirit realm sealed within the spirit mirror. Her head feels like it is going to explode. She wonders where is she, Lucida, and the physician stands beside her. She wakes up and finds herself on the bed. They ask her how is she feeling as she has woken up now. All of them are worried about her. She notices that their gas shows concern for her and the realization that she does not have to endure her sorrow alone when she wakes up. They ask her if she's okay. She realizes that everything is new, and she does not know what kind of expression she should make. The physician introduces himself. He asks her if there are any other places that hurt. She coughs as he mentions it is Oak to answer slowly so she should not push herself too hard. He questions what did she eat at the orphanage, and if she has ever eaten something like the food she had today. She informs him that she has had cabbage soup. With her that it seems like consuming excessive would react suddenly along with cream, which is not good for her stomach is the issue. She remembers that it was delicious. He tells her that from now on she should only eat the medications and light food that he prescribed. She thinks that they are tormenting her by making her unable to eat delicious things. Thinking that orphanage should be turned down, the Duke asks her if there is anything else that hurts. Dylan also tells her that she was unconscious for almost 2 days and just woke up, and they were all very worried. She cannot believe that they were worried about her. She's aware that she was brought here intentionally and just collapsed. So how can they be worried about her? She then looks at the distance between them and thinks why everyone is staying so far away. She notices that the young master has been avoiding eye contact since earlier and that there's a foul smell. She realizes that she vomited during meals and fainted for 2 days, and not being able to wash for 2 days, she finds herself filthy and decides to get up. Realizing she is so dirty right now and the bed will get dirty, the young master tells her to not move so suddenly as she can just get up slowly and take a bath. The Duke calls out to Lucida and tells her that he should take her and help her bathe. She wonders what are they talking about and notices that the Duke's expression is dark. She wonders what should she do to be loved at times like this. She feels cozy. After she is done with bath, Lucida tells her that she should be eating only delicious things right now and asks her if she's feeling a little better. She responds yes, and that her head is a little before. She thinks that she should not worry her as looking at Lucida's eyes, but she cannot help but say the truth. Lucida mentions that His Highness say that her opinions are important in everything, and he said that she is a good girl who observes her surroundings and ensures her suffering well. She ponders that she thought he was angry earlier because of his dark expression. Thinking if he was just saying all that, she thinks if he noticed that she was nervously observing. She feels a bit queasy. Lucida asks her if she feels scared of His Highness or the young master, or she has any numbness or trembling feeling. She thinks about it as she does not know how to respond. Lucida tells her that it is a sensitive matter, but they have a truly remarkable presence in everyone, perhaps because of that presence is afraid of the master and the young master. They mention that the young master is also worried that she might have heard because he stayed close to her. The girls given by the chief physician was not that, but since it is a curse passed down through generations, others likely avoided it. So that is why everyone's opinions are similar. She wonders how much suffering from the course just must have led to those worries. She is not sure whether everyone treats her so well that she is grateful. She really wants to run over and clear up any misunderstandings right away. Even at this moment, she is worried that the Grand Duke could think of her as an insolent child. Can you see the mentions that she's so glad as she tells her that now she needs to change into new clothes and guides her to the dressing room? She looks at all of the dresses and shoes and becomes mesmerized. Seeing everything shining so brightly, she finds all of them so pretty. Lucida asks her if she happens to like it, and informs her that His Kindness prepared the clothes for her. She tells her that she should come here and she will choose the clothes that she wants to wear. She chooses one of the dress as Lucida asks her if she likes this dress, then she will help her change her into that. Lucida also tells her that they did not have enough time, so there's only ready-made clothes for her and soon His Highness will call a tailor to get her sizes for her custom outfits. Informing her that His Highness instructed them to prepare as thoroughly as possible since she will be entering the Imperial Palace. She thinks about it and wonders that the Grand Duke is going that far only for her. She knows that when she thinks about it, the Grand Duke has always been kind to her ever since they met. She remembers that he asked her about her opinion and he paid attention to the smallest details about her. She does not want to hurt him just because of this misunderstanding. She decides to run to him. She wishes for him to please listen carefully. They are shocked to find her as she has tears in her eyes. But she tells him that she hates that the young master is avoiding her. She mentions that he kept avoiding her eyes earlier and it hurt her feelings. She calls out to each of them and tells them how much she likes them. Tensions that she likes this home and everyone here coming from the orphanage. It feels like paradise to her. She has never felt this way before. She is aware that everyone there had no interest in her. They hated her because she was a dirty or fun. No one treated her nicely. In the orphanage, she was a child who was not worthy of love. She was a useless child. For the first time in her life, she has met many good people who are with her. They hug her without a care and hold her hand, and she's so happy for that. No, she thinks that she understands why she felt so uneasy when she was with them. They were like her, just like how she was alone in this world. She was rejected by her family, and the Grand Duke's family was isolated because of the curse. She asks them why are they avoiding her. It makes her feel sad that they are avoiding her. But before that, with His Highness hugs her tightly, she wishes for them to not avoid her anymore, and that they should not hate her, please. She tells them to not dislike her because of this. They wipe her tears and tells her that she is not a dirty orphan and she is their sister. It has only been a short time since she woke up. They tell her that she must be exhausted from crying so much as her eyes have become as red as rabbits. They tell her to go inside and wait as His Highness will feed her some soup. She tells him all right. She shows him the dress and asks him if it is not cute. He agrees with her and tells her this is cute. She wonders if His Highness finds her cute too. Like dragonfly wings, as she finds the weather so nice before she wonders what is going on. She's aware that she has never worn something with things like this attached to food. His Highness looks at her legs before he tells her they should eat before the soup gets cold. She is shocked that he changed the subject and tells him all right. He places her down and asks her to open her mouth. She seems a bit weird as she eats it from his hand. She finds it really hot. He asks her what is wrong, and if she's okay. Lucida appears and questions what seems to be the matter. His Highness mentions that it seems like she is still in pain. She vomited after he gave her the soup. Lucida asks her if she's okay. She tells Lucida that His Highness gave her the soup without cooling it down first, and it is really too hot. You will see the mentions that she notices she did not cry much and tells her that she is a good girl and tells his Duke that he should blow on the soup before giving it. She gives her cold water and asks her to hold it in her mouth. His Highness tells her that her body is weak so her tongue might be delicate too. Lucida tells His Highness that eating such hot food without cooling it down will hurt anyone. But he is aware that his kids did not have this problem. Both that comparing the physical abilities of the Duke's family with regular people is not right. She tells his Duke that he did not do it on purpose, but why is he suddenly giving her soon? He tells her that she is too thin, so she should eat well to grow taller. He mentions that is right. If she eats well and take her medicine to get healthy, then he will give her something special that he has never given to other children. She asks him if that is really the case. He gives her a pinky promise stating that he promises her dad. Meanwhile, somewhere else, someone asked a question if he's alright. He responds that he is fine and asks him to leave from here quickly. He gets on the carriage, and while he's on the carriage he thinks how nice it would be if he could stay inside. He wishes for his dear as he knows that he searched for the child for 6 years. The dead child was cremated within 3 days, according to customs. The empress who gave birth her eyes also died as she could not endure the childbirth due to her frail health. All this time was told to him by the other wife, Empress Alina. Everyone thought it was strange that he was searching for a dead child, but he firmly believed that the child was alive. He thinks that the child could be dead, but he felt the awakening of the spirit power after the child was born. Even though he knew it was irrational, he clung to a glimmer of hope and traveled to all orphanages in the country. He asks Lucas what is he doing. Lucas responds that he's drawing the tasks he needs to do when she comes back, as when she comes back he will teach her swordsmanship himself and he will carry her every day. He cannot wait to see her. He is the eldest son Lucas, who was eagerly waiting for the sibling left by his deceased mother. Lucas was the only one in the imperial palace to believe his sibling was alive. As the gifts for the sibling increased, his hopeful face grew dimmer. Ocella would go to his father and tell him that she loves him. She would give him flowers. She, the daughter of the weak noble family who was married off for political reasons to become the empress. She is sorry for the child, but Ocella, whom he did not want when the empress was a daughter, he could not laugh. Everyone said to forget that youngest child and focus on raising the living ones, even though he could never forget the lost child. He wishes he could see her just for once. He thinks that if he has not found them yet, and he should such thoroughly as he will never give up on her, he will definitely find her. He wonders where is she wandering without even having been held in his arms. He calls out her name as he thinks about her. Dylan calls her as she runs to him, calling him brother, but she thinks why does he keep calling her like a puppy and going back and forth so many times as it is tough. He questions if exercising is making her tired. He asks her to eat this as it is a candy. He mentions that he will give her 2 pieces specially as it is a secret from her brother. She does have it as delicious and that she really likes it. She also calls him the best. He shows it off to the big brother that she finds him the best and likes him the most. He asks him what on earth is he writing every day. Yes, he gives no reaction and it is boring. She also looks at him and wonders if he is recording any activities again. She saw him working on a health program and consulting with doctors, thinking if it could be that her fainting was a shock to him. He then calls out to her and asks her to come near. She ponders that here they go again and rushes to him, thinking what can she do? She does have that. She is coming now. But in the middle, Dylan tells her that he will teach her swordsmanship and she should come to him. She realizes it is hard to call her all at once like this. He then rushes to her with the sword, stating that he will then come over there. She becomes scared, thinking if he comes like this you will end up getting hurt. But before that, right then, Master takes his sword and protects her. He shouts at him, telling him that swinging a sword around without understanding the situation if he is out of his mind. Dylan becomes emotional and apologizes and questions if she is hurt. She wonders that he looks like a scolded puppy. She tells him that he is so cute. He asks her what is cute about this situation and how can she tease him like that. She tells him that it is just really cute. His Highness is looking at them. He is informed that the investigation into the orphanage where she was staying is complete. He asks for the report as it is told that the children he saw were in a very staffed condition, and it seems they did not get proper nutrition like the young lady. They are also informed that none of the children were dressed for the season. The whole orphanage was cold except for the director's office. Given the state of the orphanage, it seems the director embezzled quite a bit of money, and that if the funds from the Duke's estate had been used properly, it would not have reached this extent even without personal donations. He wondered how dared to think that they normally rational his grace is this angry, thinking if that little lady might become a young lady. He calls out to the attendant and asks him to bring her here. She goes to him and questions if he called her. She ponders that usually she only sees him during meal times or tea times and wonders what is going on. He asks her to come here and sit down. She does that and wonders why did he call her. He questions what does she think about the orphanage. She asks him why is he asking about the orphanage. All of us return. She realizes his expression is called. She does not think she has ever seen him make such a face and thanks if he is dissatisfied with her and planning to send her back to the orphanage. She wonders that it has only been 2 weeks since she came to the Duke's house and thanks if she did something wrong. She wonders what should she do. She tells herself to think quickly as she can get through this. She wonders if she should take more enthusiastic photos for newspaper promotion, or if she should emotionally appeal to him based on the goodwill that she has, or if she should emphasize her intelligence, or she should do just whatever she's told. She wonders what is the wisest choice. She tells him that perhaps if he is planning to send her back to the orphanage because he does not need her, or if she should go back to the orphanage. He didn't ask her. What is she saying? He tells her that she is saying that she is not needed, and who said that? But she's not needed, but she states that he suddenly asked about the orphanage. He apologizes to her, stating that he was too hasty. He tells her that for now, she can take this as her body is completely healed. It is a promised gift. She looks at it, realizing it looks like the usual cream puff. He asks her to eat it before it melts and loses its taste. She finds it cold. He mentions it is an ice cream puff. She does not know how it tastes. She then realizes it is a cream puff that is frozen and eaten cold. There was someone who liked it as much as she does. She thinks if he's thinking of the Duchess, as he said she passed away shortly after giving birth to Dylan. He tells her to just eat it as she looks like she's about to drool. She then tells him that she will eat it and finds it really delicious. She thanks him for giving her such a tasty treat. He mentions that if she likes it that much, then she should come often and he will prepare it for her. She then questions if she is not being sent back to the orphanage because he is giving her this again. She tells him, if that is the case, then she knows it very well. She is aware that this is an opportunity to deal with the director who has been tormenting her and the children, and she will report everything. She tells him that the director is a good person. She works hard so that everyone can eat. He asks her if that is really the case. She tells him it is sad that usually excellent people give money for them. What? Such people are rare, so they have to help the director a lot. He questions if they have things to do. She tells him yes, they all work very well. They do swing laundry and cleaning. After breakfast they clean up and do saving until dinner, about 10 hours, and they work hard to make things in. The director sells them to buy food. He tells her that children like her work for 10 hours, or if she has been beaten often. She cannot believe that he called her there. She tells him that she was a useless child in the orphanage, so she learned to clean and do laundry well, to work as a maid in a good house. He becomes angry when she asks him to not do that. She tells him to not clench his fist as it hurts, and she wishes he would not be hurt. He mentions that he feels the same and he hopes a child with such beautiful hands no longer suffers. She has tears in her eyes as she thinks. At that moment, her nose began to sting with tears. She tells herself to not cry, thinking this feeling must be Shulina's emotions. She tells herself to not be shaken. He mentions that from what he has heard, the director is a terrible human being, but the orphanage is an unnecessary place for the Duke estate, so they should punish and explore the director and then bring in a new one. She realizes now that children at the orphanage can be free from the director. After a while, she realizes it has only been a few days since she said that. The director stands in front of her as she wonders, how did things turn out this way?